Okay, testing, 1, 2, 3. If you can hear me, please put the letter Y in the question box. I can see Dana and Jerry, so good evening to you both. Okay, so if somebody can just hit the letter Y, let me know you can hear me and you can see me. We will go ahead and get started. Okay, testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, very good. Thank you, Dana. Appreciate that. All right, thank you, Natu. I'm going to go ahead and just put the link here in the Facebook group, and then we'll go ahead and get started. While I do that, if you have any questions in particular that you'd like to see me answer, go ahead and just write them in there. Then we will kind of kick off. Now, I do have something that I'm going to cover here. If we don't, I'm just going to put in here that we're live. And we'll put this post here. And then we'll put it in the event calendar. I think there is. We'll place that there in the event, and then we will be good to go. Okay, so once again, if you have any questions that you'd like to kind of see me answer, then I'll be happy to take that question. And we'll just kind of get these logistics done, and we're ready to go. All right. Okay, so the Facebook group, Gareth, is facebook.com/groups/the PLR show. All right, thanks, Gareth. All right, so I want to pull up my presentation here. And this is kind of based on a question that I got a little while back that I have been meaning to answer. I know I talked a little bit about audio in my email today or in the newsletter today, so I do want to touch on that. Okay, so Gareth is asking me how many monitors that I'm using. Right now, Gareth, I am using 3 monitors. So I have my laptop monitor here on the right. Right here is my 1920 by 1080, and then right here is my 1280 by 720. So I've got 3. I like to have more, but and I'm thinking about putting one up here, but then that would kind of get in the way of my webcam at this point, so I probably won't do that. All right, so let's see. I'll just pull up the. All right, Dennis, I can see you. All right, so this weekend Q&A, what I'd like to kind of touch on here is an audio PLR strategy. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen, so let's do that. Okay, so let's first talk about one of the things I talked about today was the fact that in particular it was kind of a question based on the fact that, okay, well, you know, you lined up bonuses for, I think it's a new PLR, and it was audio PLR. And so the question is always, what am I supposed to do with that, right? It's not video and it's not text. So you know, how can I really do that other than just give it to people, especially when it comes to PLR? So I want to talk about that here tonight. And I realize this is not the night for PLR technically. Technically, this is my internet marketing call. So if you have a question that's specific to internet marketing, please feel free to write it in there. I'll cover that. But I'm going to go ahead and just talk about this concept, even though it's just PLR, which I typically do during the weekly call, but I'm going to go ahead and cover this now. So let's talk about reselling PLR audio. And we all know that probably, and let's just get this out of the way, you probably already know that the first thing I'm going to tell you is you're going to have the audio transcribed. And so that just comes first right off the top. Once you get that audio transcribed, then you're sort of in business. I mean, there are a number of ways to do that. You can have your audio transcribed done through what used to be called Amazon Mechanical Turk. That's a little complicated. They tend to like to have, you tend to want to have something that's going to be an interface. But we'll kind of get into that. You're probably going to be talking about, if you want to have an audio professionally transcribed, about $1 a minute, right? So if you have a 60-minute audio, it's probably going to cost you about $1 a minute. There's a site called speechpad.com. How many of you all have heard of that? Speechpad.com. Speechpad does about $1 a minute. I think the turnaround is 2 to 3 days. My daughter, Sydney, does it. So if you actually have a project, you can, if she's not too busy, you can reach out to her and just ask her if that's something that if she's interested in your project. Then once the audio is transcribed, right, there are a number of things you can do with it once you have a document. So, but the first thing you and I have to do is we got to get it transcribed, and you can actually almost do it yourself. Now, one of the things that we have done here is that Laurel kind of does summary. So when I do an interview, Laurel will sit down and listen to it and do a summary. Now, you can do that also if you can summarize to a point where, number one, you're not missing any of the main points. Number two, you're communicating concise concepts where people are getting bullet points of the main idea. So if you don't really want to pay for a transcript, you don't want to do a transcript. Personally, you know, if I get a transcript, I've still got to work with it. So sometimes I really don't want a transcript. I'd rather have a summary, right? If I'm gonna speak from it, right, if I'm going to use it as content, if I'm going to create a product from it, then I'd rather have the summary. If you're creating products, you want to get that audio transcribed or at least summarized into a summary. Does that make sense? Everybody with me on that? So we got to turn the audio into text. Okay, so Bob's question, let me see, Bob, your question is, if you have a lot of content, how do you keep from someone to copy it? Okay, I will cover that at the end, Bob. Thank you. Good question. Okay, so we have the audio, and so when you have an hour's worth of audio, you probably have about 10 to 15 pages of single space content. Maybe I'd say 8 to 10, really, not 10 to 15, 8 to 10. You have 8 to 10 pages of single spaced content, Microsoft Word. Right now, that means then, and I have 10 to 15, I really mean 8 to 10. You probably then have 8 to 10 pages of about 325 to 350 words. So you have a document that is 10 times 3, let's say 325. So you got about 3,500 word document. Does that make sense? So you then have basically an ebook or content that is about 3,500 words. Is everybody with me? So if you get that, please put the number 1 in the question box. Right, I want to make sure I get through everything before by 9:30. So I'm kind of hustling here. And I know I was late, so I might go an extra 5 minutes. I don't want to keep you any longer than 30 minutes. But okay, so you got about 3,500 words. You have a document you can use. So then what you're going to do, what I would suggest you do with that content. Now, again, you have a document. It's not going to take that long it's not going to take that long word. Yeah, Garrett, YouTube does transcribe videos and audio. It's still not quite there yet, right, where it does it fully. You're still going to have to read through it. And when you get a transcribed document, you tend to have something that you can use professionally. But again, yeah, YouTube is another way that you can do it just to get a start, right? But if you want to do it, if you want to have it so it's hands off and you want to use it right off the top, right? So let's say that, like for me, right, I spend the majority of my time creating videos. So if I have to stop and actually do some of the transcription, that would slow me down personally. But if that's part of your process, right, I think that's a perfectly good way to use YouTube and a transcription, right? That's a cool thing to do. Okay, I would take that content and divide it logically into 30 or 31 segments, logically. So in some cases, what you're gonna have maybe you're gonna have something that'll break up maybe at about 100 words, sometimes 250, sometimes 3. So it's gonna depend on where the break is. You want to find logical breaks so that the document then is spaced about between 30 and 31 segments, right? Now, once you have that content, what you're going to do is for each segment, right? Read through the segment and pick an appropriate offer, right? Read through the segment and pick an appropriate offer. What do I mean by that? You probably have enough PLR offers, and if you don't have them uploaded with buy buttons on them, then this is a good excuse to do that. Right? You want to get your PLR offers, you want to put buy buttons on them, JVZoo buttons on them, and then upload them to your server, right? Upload them to your website, upload them someplace, even put them on your WordPress blog, but get them up. Because this is where you are going to start to put those things into motion. You're going to start to put those things into use. If you have any PLR right now, right, you should be putting them up someplace with a buy button on them. Right. And again, I can tell you tons of ways that you can drive traffic to it. I'm going to tell you about one tonight. But if you have PLR and you don't have buy buttons on them, I would say that before December 1st, you should make a priority out of getting them up. Right. Make a top priority out of getting them up and making an offer out of them. Now, for each one of those segments, pick one of your offers. And I don't say, and I have been saying this for the last month or so, and that is, don't be quick to go grab an affiliate link, right? So when you put these things together, don't be fast to go get an affiliate link to put it in your stuff, right? These are your customers. And so you want to start giving your customers more stuff from you to buy. Now, if that PLR offer is kind of impersonal, doesn't have anything from you in it, then yeah, spice it up. Put your own person in it so that it carries your authority with it. But still, if you send me to an offer on your server, right, and then I buy something from you, instead of going to buy an affiliate product from you, not only do you not share the commission with someone else, but you also keep me focused on what you're providing, right? You have offers that come in contact with the stuff that you're doing, right? So in other words, consider, right, getting that document from the PLR audio, dividing it into 31 sections, finding logical places, putting PLR offers inside of the context that fit the context. Some of the offers, quite frankly, can be free. Right? So, some stuff, sometimes you can just give something away during the course of one of the 30 to 31 segments. Not everything has to be an offer to buy every day, right? Sometimes it can be free in order to build value. Now, you want to make sure that the free offers, now this is a little tricky, right? Let's say you decide to give an ebook on Tuesday. Right, that's going to be one of the 30 to 31 segments. It's going to have a link inside of it. It's going to direct them to a free offer you have. Now, we know that free offer should have more of your links in it. Is everybody with me on that? Does everybody get me? So if you understand what I mean when I said that, please put the number 2 in the question box. So not only are you going to be sending them something every day, but you should be, even inside of your free offers, you should be directing them someplace, but direct them to places where you have other stuff. Again, context is everything. And you and I have more than enough PLR in order to direct people to stuff that we have. Right. And so if you have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 PLR offers, they all ought to be on your server with buy buttons on them. And all you should be looking for is the right context. When the context comes up, you should be directing me to that PLR offer, which should have your buy button on it, instead of being fast to send me to an affiliate offer. Now, let's move on. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to divide that. Basically, what you're doing is with 30 to 31 segments is you're creating emails. Right? That's why I said divide it into 30, 31. You're creating a month's worth of content. So 1 hour of transcribed audio becomes a month of content emails. How many of you all like to write content emails? Not too many of us, right? And I recognize that. I remember, I used to talk about that a lot because it's something that I like to do. But I know it's something that not everybody likes to do. Not everybody likes to write. Not everybody likes to write content, but there's still no excuse not to have content in your emails. And so sometimes, and look, as a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you this. If you want to stay out of spam filters, right? One of the differences between being in a spam filter and not being in a spam filter is having content on a daily basis. And so when you have content on a daily basis and you actually give people something to look forward to, then what's going to happen is then not only are you going to be teaching people something, but you are also going to be creating rapport with them. And I'll get to that here in a minute. But and if you don't want to write it every day, PLR audio is the way to go. Because you got the PLR audio, it's transcribed, it's in documents, you have divided into 31 days. Now you just got to put it into your autoresponder. Now, every time you do this, now this is something you can outsource. You can actually outsource this part of it, right? You want to take each one of those documents, each one of the 30 segments. You want to put that, whatever that personalization code in there, right? Personalization code in there, where you have, so for Aweber, you put in first name, and I think it's an exclamation point. But whatever it is for your autoresponder, put first name in each segment. Whatever the designation is for URL, put that in the appropriate place. So where the link goes, put URL. Now, the reason I'm telling you to do this is because if you decide what you're going to do is you want to sell this, right? Let's say you decide, I'm going to sell this as content. I'm going to sell this to somebody so they can have content emails. Then all they got to do is they got to put it in their autoresponder, and then they can put a URL regardless of what autoresponder they use. They can just do a cut and paste, right? So you want to put these things in the appropriate places. You want to have the signature in the appropriate place, right? And one of the things I don't have in my presentation that you can actually do, and I guess I do have it here, but I'll get to it here in a minute. Okay, now make sure the code matches whatever. So if you're using Aweber or your customer's code is Aweber, make sure you have code that matches Aweber or GetResponse or MailChimp, right? So whatever the code is, just make sure it matches. Right now, again, when you are uploading, you want to arrange this code into 30. Right? You want 30 day lessons, right? 30 one-day lessons. And when you do this, what's going to happen is, if let's say that this becomes a successful campaign, and you decide that as you get people that come onto your email marketing list, and you tell them, hey, you know what? Here's a bonus I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you my most successful campaign that I've ever run. I'm going to give you my most successful campaign as a bonus when you buy this product. And so what you want to do then is you can do inside of Aweber and GetResponse is you can share that with them with a code. Now, if you have the content with the codes in it, then they can translate that for their autoresponder. Now, if you just don't put that stuff in there, then what they've got to do is they've got to go back and write all that stuff in there. But if you have the code in there, it's going to be easy for them to use it for their autoresponders. That makes sense. Everybody with me on that? That's kind of a bit of an advanced concept, but you can share, you can sell this content. You can sell your autoresponder campaign. You can sell these content emails to somebody else who has Aweber, GetResponse, or MailChimp. Awesome bonus, right? It is an awesome bonus. As a matter of fact, I should be doing it myself. But you can do that and very easily. And some people, look, you could actually almost create an entire product just based on that. Look, if you were to have 12 awesome emails, right? 12 awesome audios transcribed, and then put those transcribed audios into 30-day segments, and then sell a year's worth of emails. Now, if you had gone out and you had somebody create a course for you and do a video course for you, you'd be paying about the same amount if you outsourced it. So you'd be paying 12 times 60, right? You'd be paying 12 sets of $60 to have audios transcribed. But once you do that, you could very easily put those into emails that you could actually sell as content. right now. It's just, and I don't really even have that in my presentation. I just thought of that while I was sitting here. Okay, so Bob's question is, I've been traveling, have been out of circulation. Do you have, okay, yeah, Bob, I'm here on Saturdays, probably at 9, and Wednesdays at 9. Sometimes I might go on Tuesday, but Saturdays and Wednesdays at 9. That's just generally when I'm going to be here. Okay, so now, add value to each daily message. Let me tell you what I mean when I say that. Okay, so how do I add value to the repurposed audio? Okay, so where are you gonna, what's the URL gonna be? So every day, they're gonna get sent to a URL. So every day, that URL should be some kind of private blog post. They're gonna get some kind of experience from that. Now, what you can do on that private blog post is, you can turn each day into a mind map. Right? You can have some kind of call to action or call to action of some kind of offer. You can turn each day into a video lesson. Now, I've done this before, but this is a little hard. You can actually turn a PLR audio into animated video. Right now, it's not easy to do. You can outsource. It would be a little pricey because of the sense of the audio, but you can do it. If you have something like Sparkle, that's what I have. You have Video FX, you have Explaindio. You can turn that animated video into, you can turn that audio into animated video. And I actually explained this in, what was it, Animated Jumpstart. Because all you're going to do is take the first line of each paragraph, and you're going to really storyboard that into a scene. You're not going to do the entire paragraph and everything that's said. You're going to take the first line that represents the paragraph, and that's what you're going to storyboard, right? Or the main idea, and turn each one of those into a scene. And you'll probably have about 12 scenes to design, and then you will have an animated video. So in some ways, it's not necessarily easy to do, but it provides a lot of value. Right? A lot of value, because not only are they going to be listening to the audio, but they're actually going to be watching this presentation that's going to have your eyes glued to your video. So again, this is something that you could do, right? Again, the process is, and I explained this in Animated Jumpstart, you're going to just take the first line of the paragraph, one line of the paragraph. You should probably have about 12 lines in. And you take each of those 12 lines, you storyboard those lines, right? That's what you do the pictures about, right? In your animated video. And then your animated video, you line up the timing with the audio. Again, not impossible to do, but it can be done. Now, okay, Dan is asking if I'm live. Yes, sir, I am live. Yep, I am live. Okay, so storyboard each line. Okay, and then match up the timing so it fits. All right, now, and then of course in the video you want to make sure that the call to action is to a specific product. But let's talk about what you're going to actually sell. I actually covered this a little bit. Okay, so basically, you could actually sell this entire set of lessons that you created, right? Because it's basically you've done a done-for-you product for somebody. You've given them a set of emails that they can use. Now, obviously, if you've tested them, that's a fantastic thing to sell, right? So you actually run the campaign, you determine what's converting and what's not, and then once you get testing, you get data, you start tweaking a little bit, you take that, and then that's your product, right? You have a product with results, and that's actually what you're going to sell. Look, the copy would write itself for that because you've already got results. And so those high quality lessons that have been tested inside your autoresponder with offers of yours, you can actually then even get people, look, that's a great incentive for people to become your affiliate. Because if you say to them, hey, look, here are the offers that actually work with these emails, right? And all you've got to do is sign up to be my affiliate and then send the traffic over there. Again, once again, these are things that you can do. All this from the start of just a PLR audio, right? And again, whatever those emails do, they should be making an offer each day, right? They should be educating and making an offer each day. You could use them yourself, and you could just make it private and sell access to the 30-day. It could be your 30-day challenge, right? And you sell access to a private 30-day challenge. where they're going to get a blog post, they're going to get an animated video, they're going to get something every day, and they're going to go to your site, they're going to click the link inside the email, they're going to go there, and then you're going to give them that content. Again, access to the animated videos. If you're going to do animated videos, you can give them webinar content and the script, or what you're doing right in these emails. When you break up that content, all you're doing is you are selling your prospect on the offers, right? That's what you're doing. You are selling your prospect on what your offers are. You are also selling your prospect on your authority. So let's say you say, Charles, I don't want to sell in these emails. I don't want to do an offer, which is fine, right? Let's say you want to take, now 30 days is a long time not to sell, but you can take those 30 days and you can sell your prospect on your authority. In other words, you're telling them, I know what I'm talking about. Again, all of this coming from a PLR audio. You were selling them that you know what you're talking about. Now, again, I recommend that you read through this content, that you make sure it represents what you really think, right? Don't just put them in your autoresponder. Don't just put them in there and just kind of leave them out there to go. Kind of have them so that they really do represent your authority. They really do represent what it is you're teaching. Selling your prospect on your commitment to them. Now, this is really kind of vital, I think. This is vital, I think. When you deliver content for 30 days, here's what you were selling your prospect on, your commitment to them. Every transaction is based on some kind of relationship. First, you have already gotten their attention, right? Because that's what a friendship is based on. When you do friendship marketing, you got to get somebody's attention. You probably have that. You have to find some way to relate to them or connect with them. Right. So you have found some common ground, could be internet marketing or whatever your niche is. And then the last place is where you commit to them. Right. And all this happens before a sale. And so when you demonstrate that you are committed to them, that you are, look, those lessons say to your customer, to your prospect, I'm looking for a way to commit to you. I'm looking for a way to help you. I'm looking for a way to help you to change. Look, whatever your content is. Now, if your content is, if your emails are, life coaching, you are committing to them for 30 days to help change their life. You don't have to sell anything, right? You can just be selling them that you're committed. But on day 31, when you actually make an offer to them, you will have already demonstrated your commitment to them. And what you're going to be doing, obviously, is you're going to be looking at your open rates. You'll be looking at subject lines. And once again, once that whole campaign is over, you can lift that entire campaign with a share code, and you can sell that share code telling people that, look, here is a tested campaign with results. And so there are a lot of ways, as I said, to really profit from PLR audio. And again, I haven't even scratched the surface. I just gave you what I can give you in 30 minutes. Okay, so really and truly, if you stretch your creativity, there are a number of things that you can actually do, right? A number of things that you can actually do. Now, of course, we still have we actually gave as part of our bonus to Aurelius's his mindset PLR, and what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to put 5 additional audio recordings on the front end, 5 additional ones on the back end. So that's all. So the only people who are going to see this offer are going to be the people who are on this webinar. So again, you're going to see some of my bonus page, but I've already added 5 additional ones. So I've added 5 additional ones. And then you can actually get 10 new audios that you can do just what I talked about with it. So not only are you going to get the mindset audios, you will actually also get the 5 additional ones that I put in there tonight. Okay, so any questions? Any questions on what I talked about here tonight? Any questions? Any questions? Let me go back and take a look at your question, Bob. I remember you had a question up here. And your first question was, let's see. Okay, so Bob's question is, if you have a lot of content, how do you keep somebody from copying it? And the short answer is, Bob, you in some ways you cannot, but in other ways, one of the ways you do that is you make it you make it unique. So in other words, there's some things that that I have talked about in a way that I know that I'm the only one that said it in the way that I said it. Right. So in other words, I might teach a concept that I may have found, but I teach it in my own way. And so sometimes when you rename a concept that you learn and you discover something, you rename it to, the Bob method, right? Bob's content method, or Bob's super stealth content method. 5 ways to get traffic based on content. And so that is a and then Bob, each of the methods, right? And this comes from my seminary days, actually. And one of the things that they teach you in seminary is to use alliteration, right? So use alliteration. So rename the concepts with all D's, right? So what are some things I can call it? I can call it dedicated content. I can say it is dominating the market content, that kind of thing. So in other words, I rename a concept, I call it my method in some way. Then I define the content. I like to use alliteration. You don't have to use alliteration. Some people think that's corny, right? But again, what it does is it actually puts the content in your camp. And it makes it harder to copy, because somebody comes across it, they'll say, you know what? Wait a minute. Determined, dominant. I heard that someplace. That's Bob that did that on the webinar. And so you want to, when you start creating content, it's yours, right? So when you come to the marketplace, whatever your niche is, you should be defining your content in terms of the way you look at it, right? It should represent the way you look at the world. And as long as it's accurate, right? As long as it's really giving people good direction, right? Perfectly fine for you to redirect it. So that's sort of my way of keeping people from. Now, it's nothing will keep somebody from copying, because if somebody's bold, they'll just use your alliteration, right? And in some cases, I've actually given people permission to use mine. But my point by telling you this is, start redefining the content, redefine the concept, redefine the concept, right? And then that's the way you'd actually do it. Okay, yep, not to. I sure will. If you would you just send me an email to remind me tonight, yeah, not to, and I'll send that to you directly. Thank you. All right, any other questions? That's a great question. Bob, I think you had another question. Let me scroll back up here. Do I transcribe my shows into readable documents? The answer to that is yes and no. I have on occasion, when I can get Sydney to do it for me, when she's not too busy, I will have her do it. My wife will sometimes do some of my stuff, and she will summarize. She's better at that and so I have done some of those. Not a lot of the webinars I've done, because what happens is I kind of teach from an outline, and because of that, my outline is kind of my guide. So I tend not. I don't have a script that I use, and so the transcript for me would kind of bog me down. So for that reason, I probably haven't done a transcript of my webinars. All right, let's see. And one question is, okay, so how about breaking up the existing audio for segments in an ongoing podcast as a teaser for now? I think that if you're going to use audio for a podcast, okay, so this is some work that if you are an audio editing person, if you like editing audio, then I think it's fine. But if you're not necessarily somebody who likes to edit audio, I would not, because it's an audio editing job, even a fast one, is easily 45 minutes for the simplest audio job to do it right, because you got to stretch the audio, you got to figure out where to fade stuff in and fade stuff out, you got to take out stuff, and audio editing is not hard to do, but it's time consuming. And so if you did that with 30 episodes, you'd have to sell it for quite a bit in order to make up for the time you put into it. Right? I wouldn't. I'm not totally opposed to it. I'm just saying that if you have somebody, maybe you have a family member who would do that for you. You got a son or a daughter or somebody there who will do it. I think that's perfectly fine. If you have to pay somebody, I don't know. The jury is out. You have to test it by seeing if what you pay somebody, you'd get back when you sold it. Right? Any questions? Okay, great questions. Okay, any other questions? Okay, good questions tonight. Okay, so I expect to be okay, go. So Kirsten's got a good question. Okay, so yeah, Eleanor, there will be a recording, absolutely. Okay, so Kirsten's question is, who's a prospect? Okay, great question. So the prospect is going to be somebody who has responded to a lead magnet. That's right. When you have tested the campaign, Kirsten, you can actually sell the campaign to a new customer, right? So what you're doing is, if you have something like Aweber, right? So the answer to your first question is the prospect is somebody who is opted in. So yes, you got to get them to opt in, and then once you are kind of watching your campaign, Aweber will give you stats on how many people open your follow-up emails. And so you can actually measure how well those follow-ups are doing on particular days. You can also measure how many people are clicking a specific link, and you can actually test and tweak it. And once you sort of have it running at the best it can, then what you can do is you can take that entire campaign and sell it to an existing customer, right? Because it's a proven campaign. It's a campaign that customer probably bought from. Or even if they didn't buy from it, it's a campaign that has been working, has been generating income, right? It's a result. So, yep, no, great question. Eleanor, will there be a recording? Yes, there will. Right, you can actually get the recording, Eleanor, in it's in the, it'll be in the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/the PLR show. And it will also be on my YouTube channel. Okay, great question. Any other questions? Okay, everybody. Well, thank you very much for being here. I certainly appreciate you. Oh, let's see. Bob's got a question here. What's my suggestion for starting a membership site? Okay, so for a membership site, I think that if a membership site works when you have already sort of had somebody purchase a front end offer, or you have already proven what you're going to sell. So in other words, let's say that you are going to sell training. Then the best people to sell your training to is going to be the people who have already experienced your training, right? So in other words, you put that in your funnel. You should be offering, and as I should be offering my training tonight. As a matter of fact, let me put that in here. uh, uh, okay, so good question, Bob. Okay, yeah, my coaching is GameMindshare.com/coaching. So okay, so a membership site, what you're saying to your customer is, I'm going to give you more of the same. So let's say that you are selling training on a topic, And so the person comes through and they buy your front end offer. Maybe they buy your back end offer or they don't buy it. What you're going to say to that customer at the end of the funnel is this. Hey, if you liked, clearly you like what you have already purchased, I want to give you the opportunity, right, to get this additional coaching, right? I want to give you this opportunity to get more of the same. And so what you're going to do is you're going to give them a price break on the first month. And then basically you're going to deliver more of what you got them to buy in the first place. So my concept of a membership site is more of the same when you have customers that have already purchased from you or who have experienced that you can deliver on what it is you have. Now, that's one way to deliver coaching, right? That's one way to deliver coaching. Yeah, Bob. So the 5 additional audios will be in JVZoo. Yes, they're already in there. Yep. Okay. So what you're saying here is you are saying that if let's say you do the more of the same, right? Let's say you do that. Another way to do a membership is this. You can actually do a membership that has nothing to do with your personal contact. It's all based on you're delivering something that person wants. There are PLR memberships, right? One of the best PLR memberships I have. I've never met the dude, never heard him, never talked to him, as far as I know, right? There's a problem one time, and I talked to him. Okay, so let's see which link is broken. Did I break, Sherry? That's just like me. So basically, what you're saying when you do a membership is that you are going to get something on a regular basis, but you sort of have to have a sense that it is something that somebody has already proven that they buy. Now, you don't have to have been the one to provide it, but you have to have a sense that people are already buying it on a regular basis. There are lots of PLR memberships because people buy PLR. There are written PLR memberships because people buy written PLR. So when you see somebody buying something, right, it is a way for you. I'll give you an example. I know people who buy Facebook campaigns and they sell them a membership on a regular basis. They get these Facebook campaigns, they get the subject lines, they get all the stuff because they know people are doing Facebook ads, right? So what they're doing is they're selling more of them. So if you're not going to have brought people through a marketing funnel, then what you and I have to do is you have to know that people are buying the stuff, and then you are actually then going to provide it to them in a membership, right? And all memberships are a test, right? And I it's 9:47. I don't have time. Here's I don't want to start this, but I'm gonna scratch the surface on this because I've taught on this before. What you're doing is when you start a membership, quite honestly, right? You are looking for your 1,000 true fans, and again, I spent a month talking about that. If you look on my YouTube channel, about a month and a half back, the 1,000 true fans are the people you need. You only need 1,000 people who will spend $100 with you every year. If you can find 1,000 customers who will spend $100 with you, how many of you all know what that will equal for your revenue? If you find 1,000 people who will spend $100 every calendar year, what will that equal? Right? That will equal 108,000. Right? So what you and I have to do. Oh, Facebook. Right? So what we're looking for those folks who will spend that $100 with us, so that we will have a reasonable level of income over expenses that will allow us then to grow in this business. Because when you get to 100,000, what's going to happen is then you will start to you will not hesitate, first of all, to leave your computer to go to, traffic and conversions. And when you go to traffic and conversions, what's going to happen is you're going to blow up on the inside, right? You're going to go to Russell Brunson's conference and you're going to blow up on the inside. You're going to start going to all this stuff and you're going to start paying more for training. And what's going to happen is you're going to expand on the inside. And that's what you're going to be doing with some of that 100,000. What's going to happen then is when you get that, you're going to come back and you're going to start spending that on yourself. If you took $10,000 of that 100,000 and you spend it on extremely high priced, high value conferences, you would double that 100,000 in the next calendar year just because of who you became. Right now, again, I can't guarantee that, but I'm saying then that if you are the kind of person that you could find 1,000 customers and you get them to spend $100 every calendar year with you, guess what? That's measurable. And so what are you trying to do in a membership? Your membership should be designed to help you to get your 1,000 true fans. All you really want to do is you want to have somebody who's willing to spend that money with you over the course of a calendar year, right? By giving them value. And so if you're on the value end and you're getting cheated, if you're giving more value than they're getting, then what's eventually going to happen is finding 1,000 true fans is going to be easy. Finding people who will spend X dollars a month with you so that it comes out to be $100 every calendar year will be easy. And if you found one customer every day for the next 3 years, right, you'd be at 1,000 true fans. So so the membership is really one stick in the craw that kind of gets you to 1,000 true fans. And again, I already covered this, but and I don't have time to go through it right now, but that's really what you're trying to do with the membership, is really trying to get to that point where you have, right, somebody who's willing and can and does spend with you $100 every calendar year. That's the point of it. And where you're giving more value to them than they're getting. If you have a membership and you're giving more value than they're getting, right, you're actually then going to be easy in getting your 1,000 true fans. Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate that. Okay, but again, I'm way over, guys, so I'm sorry about that. It's 9:51. If you have any questions, please feel free to write them. Just write them there in the Facebook group if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to pipe in there and answer them. So God willing, I'll be back on Wednesday, and we'll do PLR. Even though I did it tonight, I probably shouldn't have, but yeah. So any questions? I appreciate you all being here. Once again, have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.